Non è la prima volta. I think that's as much Italian as I can speak. But as Brian was reminding me, we actually were here in the very first symposium a long time ago, and several of us were just delivering several talks. And it's been several years since I've come here, and I'm really, really glad to be here. And one of the very nice things is I've obviously visited Italy during this time, but I hadn't been at an event like this. And I still feel very much like home. Like, I don't know, Italians, you guys are so warm. So I'm really looking forward to meeting many of you. So please come to me, and I'd love to meet you. So Brian has been talking a little bit about our vision for the industry as a whole and how Liferay fits into that. And I'm going to give you a few more details by telling you more about these new digital products that we are introducing in this event. And especially I want to focus on the whys. Why are we doing that? And Brian has provided several examples of this idea of how more and more businesses are realizing how the customer, and I'm saying customer in the American way, in a very general concept of the word, because it can mean not only the traditional customer, who is an individual who buys, it can also be an enterprise, but it can also be just an employee, or it can be any type of person or organization that interacts with you. It can be a student, it can be a teacher, it can be a public worker. In all cases, this user, this customer, has to be at the very center of everything you do. That's something that we at Liferay have always considered very important, and we've seen how it's not as easy as it seems. And as you evolve as a company, as the industry evolves, what you need to do to reach this customer changes. And as Brian was saying, achieving this customer centricity, it's not about technology. However, technology can sometimes, if used right, help a lot. And that's what we're trying to do, provide technology that can help you achieve this goal. So when we talk about the customer, sometimes we only think of specific phases of the interaction that the customer has with us. We believe that it's very important to consider all the different phases that it may have. So usually the relationship with any type of user and customer starts when they are beginning to consider us for whatever we are trying to offer them. That's when we call them they are a prospect. Right? Then they may reach out to us, and eventually, if we are lucky or if we do things right, they become a customer. Right? That's a transactional phase. That's when they actually buy something from us, register for a university, or they become an employee. Right? That's when they are a customer. And a phase that in the past may have not been seen as so important, but it's probably nowadays the most important of all, is when they are already a customer, when they are already a user of us. And there it's when we believe we need to put more and more emphasis, because that's when our goal should be to have them become an advocate. And in more traditional business models, this may be like 1, 2, 3 steps, but more and more, especially as we go to subscription business models as membership, as in Costco's example from Brian, this is more like a circle, and it goes over and over and over. And the most successful business models, new business models, involve having repeating customers come over and over and over and talk to their friends and have them come over and over and over. So how can we, as Liferay, provide technology that can help with cover all of these phases? Well, we've traditionally been already very good at trying to provide systems, customer portals, partner portals, to strengthen the relationship, to help become these users, these customers, advocates. We've also been very good at becoming prospects, right? And those are two areas that we want to continue evolving. We want to continue evolving, and we want to continue adding more value. We've also started to invest more and more, especially with Liferay Commerce, on the customer face, on being able to actually do transactions with you. And we also want to invest much more on managing the whole cycle, making it easier, faster to innovate, and also making it easier for business people to understand what's going on and what do I need to do to optimize my business. So Brian has already given you a hint at this, but I wanted to highlight that what we are presenting in this event is probably the biggest product launch in Liferay's history. You guys already know Liferay Digital Experience Platform, the evolution of Liferay Portal. In this event, we are presenting our newest version, which is Liferay DXP 7.1. But we are also launching a cool, very cool new product that is incredibly powerful even for just the very first versions, which is Liferay Commerce made in Italy. Not only that, we are also introducing a brand new product which is delivered on the cloud as software as a service, Analytics Cloud, which is targeted towards what I was saying of trying to see what's going on in this relationship with our customers. Where are they in the life cycle? What can I do to optimize their experience, their relationship with me? And finally, Liferay DXP Cloud, which has the goal of allowing business users to go live with their ideas, with their innovation faster, freeing IT from repeated work that can be externalized. So in this session, I'm going to talk in a little bit more detail about each of these 4 products. All of them together are highly cohesive. Our vision is that all of the products provide the Liferay technology that allows you to cover the whole customer life cycle. Let's go into detail. First, as I was saying, Liferay Digital Experience Platform. There are many, many, many new features in this version, and you guys are going to be able to see them all during the whole event. But I wanted to highlight 3 key things that I believe are very important to understand how we are trying to execute on this vision that Brian and I are telling you about. So the first thing that people always ask me is, okay, you are going to tell me about all these cool features, but when is it going to be available? So sometimes when you go to this type of events, they tell you, oh, don't worry, it's going to be available soon. Sometimes they even tell you a date, and then you may believe it or not. We are very happy to announce, that it was already available in July. So everything I'm going to show you, it's already available to you. Not only that, you're not going to be the first adopters unless some of you have already adopted it, because actually there are people who have already been working with this version of the product for several months. Some of them are already going live. So everything that I'm going to show you is mature and can be used right away. So what's new? Okay. The number 1 highlight is empower business users to create web experiences. Okay. As Brian was saying, one of the key aspects of our vision is we want to empower IT to serve business users better. And one of the things we hear over and over from both IT and business users is sometimes there is a strong dependency between them. Sometimes business users have to rely on IT for many small things that I would like to do themselves. And what we hear from IT is they keep asking me for this small thing, so I cannot get my real job done. And we believe technology can help with that situation. We believe Liferay can help with that situation. And the way we believe we can do that is by empowering the business users to do more by themselves. So in particular with web experiences, we did some research and analysis work to try to identify what are the key roles into building this web experience. The most typical type of web experience is just a website, but it could also be collaborative spaces, intranets, or just a form online. What we identified is that usually there are 3 roles involved in one way or another. These are the key roles. First, there is a marketer or the business user, anyone who is non-technical and has the goal, whatever goal it is, whatever business goal. So this person knows what they want to achieve and just wants the simplest way to get it done and double-check that it's really working. Then there is the web developer. We're talking about a web experience, and the web developers are the ones who can make this happen. But in today's world, it's super important that any web experience, any website, is really pleasant, it's really easy to use for the end user, for that end customer. And that's where the designers come in. And their role has been increasingly important. And all 3 of them need to collaborate to achieve this ultimate goal, this ultimate business goal. So we wanted to keep this into consideration as we evolved Liferay's Liferay's features to help build web experiences. So how are we doing it? Well, first, the marketer. Well, what we want to do is provide them very easy-to-use tools. So in order to achieve that, we need to find the right balance between giving these non-technical users the flexibility to do more on their own, but at the same time, it cannot be so complex that it's hard to understand and it's very hard to get the right result right. So we're trying to strive for the balance where you have the right flexibility, and with very little effort, the end result is amazing. How do we do that? Well, let's talk about the developer, this web developer. Basically, what we want to do is enable them, empower them to provide these ready-to-use components. We call them fragments, and we'll see it in a minute, that allows them to actually themselves empower this marketer, this non-technical user, to do what they want with very little effort. Okay? And then the other thing we want to do with them is we want to eliminate the barriers to implement whatever they've been asked to implement. That's something we are hearing more and more as the industry has gone from the traditional, I code everything in HTML, I can do whatever, to CMSs, portals that empower the business user to enter content with forms, but at the same time impose more limitations on web developers because they have to just do things in these little boxes. So we've been thinking hard about how can we eliminate those barriers. And Liferay 7.1 has several key features that already show a lot of progress in this direction. So I'm going to show you a video. This is Liferay 7.1 running, which is just a small example of how a business user, in this case, a marketer, can just create a web page, in this case of a corporate site, in just a few minutes using these fragments, these components that some web developer has already prepared for them. So this is Liferay's page administration interface. The user is going to start from a template. We can provide very sophisticated templates, but we're starting with one which is very simple. It just has a footer. And then on the right, you can see how it's just adding some, we call them fragments, these ready-to-use components, and just using inline editing directly on the page, they are just entering their text. Here, the marketer can just focus on what is the text and how it's going to look like. The web developer, together with a designer, have already designed this and implemented this so that the marketer can just focus on their work. Here, we're seeing the marketing is choosing the right image instead of the default image that came with the component, and adding a new fragment. They select an image for this new fragment, and then they continue to enter the right text for this specific page. We can see how all of this is done in line. Right? Fast forward a little bit so that we don't have to see how all of the text is introduced, but what you can see here is the marketer is just focusing on the content, and for this type of pages, what we realize is it's very, very important for them to see the result, not just the text, but the result exactly how it's going to seem for the end user. Okay? So they just have all these components here, all these fragments, and all they have to do is add them on the page and enter the text. We're seeing this real time, right? This is how long it's going to take to a marketer to introduce all this text. So let's see a little bit. You can see how this text in this example tries to be as realistic as possible to show how time it would take. In this case, we've already added 2 fragments. This third fragment, which is the footer, was already coming from the template. And now we're adding a slightly different fragment, which connects to the power of Liferay. In this case, not only we're going to create just content, but we're going to select a form, a predefined form, which we're going to decorate with some title and some description. Okay? Once the marketer finishes introducing the text, all he has to do is put this form with the image in the right location. And once he does that, the page is ready. The page is ready to go live. So we're going to see how we just open a new browser window, log out, and just access this page as a user would do. Right? Okay? And this is the end result. As you can see, the end result with the form is ready to be used for any user. In this last part of the presentation, we've seen how users interact through a form. This is another key highlight of this release. We believe that interacting with your users, sometimes to collect information for them or for any other purpose, it's very important. And what we are seeing is very often IT, technical companies, technical departments have to implement custom applications just for that purpose. As you know, Liferay has a tool called Liferay Forms that has the goal of allowing any user, even non-technical users, to create forms. Our goal is to improve Liferay Forms so that there is less and less of a need to create custom apps just for this purpose. And one of the key features that we've added in 7.1 to achieve this is conditional rules. Basically, conditional rules allow whoever is creating that form to set rules saying, depending on what the user has answered, or even depending on what we know of the user, change the form to adapt to his previous responses to that user. We have a wide variety of rules, and the goal finally is to personalize the form to the user or to the previous answers of the user. We also have many more features. 4 that I would like to highlight is better multilingual support, element sets. Basically, element sets means if you have a group of fields that you want to reuse over and over in different forms, why do you have to do it over and over? Well, now you can save them as an element set, and then you just add that to the form. We also have data provider integration. What that means is that sometimes the information or the options in the form want to be obtained from a third-party data source, a third-party source of information. Right? And finally, extensibility. We're making it easier to create new types of forms as well as other extensions. Again, the point here is we want to avoid or we want to allow IT, we want to prevent them from being forced, from feeling forced to develop a whole new application just because they don't have a specific feature within Liferay Forms. So thanks to this extensibility, they can just do the right extension and still be able to leverage the rest of the functionalities. So let's see an example of this being used. In this case, it's a form that we are going to start, the user is going to start on mobile. Just fill in the first name, last name, choosing a manufacturer, and here we're going to see the rules in place. Once the user selects a manufacturer, suddenly there is a new field, which is the product. And once the user selects the product, then they can select the product type. But this is really, really cool. You're going to see how they start entering the description. And then imagine the battery goes off, and they go back home and continue filling this form. Let's see there. The user could continue exactly what he left off, even in the middle of a form fill. This is a very, very cool feature that also fits into our strategy to make it easier to create omni-channel web experiences. So the user can start with just their mobile phone. If for whatever reason, that happens to me very often, they cannot continue, and they later try to do it, for example, from home, but it could also be from the same device or a different device. They can continue exactly where they left off. And the third highlight about DXP 7.1 that I wanted to give, which is obviously very important for all of us here in Europe, is facilitating GDPR compliance. How are we facilitating GDPR compliance? Well, first, providing a function that allows user administrators to just anonymize all the information that a specific user who has requested it has entered into the platform. This is very, very important for any portal, any intranet, any collaborative space that has been built with Liferay and where users have interacted. So this tool allows selecting or erasing the personal data of that user while still preserving the information which is not personal and has a lot of value for you and for the ecosystem. And the second feature is export personal data. As you know, GDPR gives us, all the European Union citizens, the right to tell a company, what do you know about me? So this second feature allows user administrator, again, to export all or specific parts of the personal data that the user may have on the system and just export it in a machine-readable format. Okay? I wanted to highlight, because GDPR is so important, some of you may already be using Liferay DXP 7.0, that this feature is also going to be made available very, very soon. It's just waiting for the next fix pack. It will also be available in Liferay DXP 7.0. As I've been repeating, and Brian also mentioned, our goal is more business out of the box, more business value out of the box to empower IT and business users. Right? So we have the first product, Liferay DXP 7.1. As you know, there are 4. The next one, a really, really important launch for us, is Liferay Commerce. So what is Liferay Commerce? Or probably an even first question that we are asked is, why commerce? So Marco already did a great job last year at presenting why we were starting to develop Liferay Commerce. But I think it's important to highlight that while it may seem that commerce, electronic commerce or electronic commerce platforms are a mature market, the truth is that electronic commerce in general is growing really, really fast. It's growing at an estimated, by Gartner, 15% annual growth. That's a lot. That's doubling in around 5 years. And we believe that because of this growth, that's a huge opportunity for all of you. And we also believe that in a market that is growing so large, there are so many things that have not been invented yet. And we want to be there to invent those things and innovate and make a very good option for you in this great opportunity. So our vision is not just to create a great product. We want anyone who is building commerce experiences with Liferay Commerce to be a better seller for their customers, a seller that their customers want to do business with. Right? And one of the things that we are doing to achieve that is we are blending the complexity of B2B with complex orders, with pricing per customers, with contract negotiation, with the great experiences that B2C providers have. And we want to blend them all together in one single product so that you can do B2B commerce experiences or also B2C, or as we're seeing, those two trends are actually, in many cases, just becoming one, merging into just one. So one of the amazing things, Brian was saying it, he was praising the commerce team, but it's absolutely amazing. We've just launched version 1.0. The next version is about to come out. The number of features of this product is amazing for our first version. And it's not just all of these features that maybe mature commerce products already have. We're almost, or probably even part of them, on the most typical features. But we are also introducing very advanced features that are much more newer, such as predictive analytics. And 2 examples where we are applying that is demand forecasting. That means either for the seller or maybe the customer of the seller, if it's a B2B environment, they can predict what are the orders that are going to come or the orders that they need to make in order to not run out of stock or not run out of whatever they need to do their job. Right? Help their customers estimate what their purchase cycles are going to look like. And the second place where we are applying predictive analytics is to automatically identify products that the user may be interested in. Liferay Commerce also has the ability for the seller to specify relationships and recommendations manually, but we also have predictive analytics using machine learning that allows the system to automatically make recommendations for the user as well. This is the Liferay platform, the Liferay Commerce platform that provides so many features. What we've realized is that in addition to that, we could provide value, we could empower the business users more by building what we call accelerators. Accelerators are focused on specific industries, like in this case, telecommunication, office supplies, manufacturing, fashion, retail, medical. We are studying, sometimes with specific customers, with partners, what are the needs of these specific sectors, industries, and we are building accelerators which are ready to use, especially for very complex scenarios such as B2B scenarios, and we are providing them with the product. So you have the base commerce platform, which is very flexible, and then you have accelerators which are ready to use. with integrated account management and commerce and other features from Liferay. Because that's probably a key differentiator that no other commerce product has. Commerce is not an island by itself. Commerce, if you want to be successful, often needs to be tied with other ways of interacting with the customer, with making them the center of your business. So Liferay Commerce covers the entire customer lifecycle because it's built on top of Liferay Digital Experience Platform. So you have commerce, but you also have all the web content management, including the features that I just showed you. It has all the portal features that you use from Liferay, and it has all the collaboration features. And it's all built from the ground up to have a very, very high cohesion. So it's the same administration UI for the administrator and all tightly integrated. And so that you can see it, I'm going to show you Beryl is one of these accelerators that I was telling you about. It's a B2B commerce experience. And in this case, we're acting as Brenda Collins. You can see some commerce features right away, but you can also see how it's integrated with blogs, with forums, and with the knowledge base coming from Liferay. This is Liferay's forums. This is directly integrated into this commerce experience. So you can see all the features of the powerful Liferay forums. You can see the knowledge base, which in this case is being used to provide more information about the products that this customer can buy. And of course, right there, you see the catalog, which is a full feature catalog of products with all the features for both B2B and B2C transactions. I'm going to show you another view, which is a dashboard. In this case, Beryl has a dashboard for the user, and a user with the proper rights. In this case, it could be, for example, an account manager, or it could be a seller manager. They can see some key performance indicators, and they can also see this predictive technology, which allows them to see what the orders are going to look like in the future and take actions based on this. So this is Liferay Commerce, an amazing new product. But as you know, we have more. Liferay Analytics. So what is Liferay Analytics? Liferay Analytics has the goal of allowing business users to find out what's going on in the relationship with the customer and even help them discover insights that can lead them to make better business decisions. One very important feature of Analytics Cloud, it's something we learned as we started making more and more delivering more features on the analytics and in the personalization world with audience targeting, is that most businesses don't have a single product. They have a variety of products for building their sites, their mobile apps, their experiences with the product. That's the reason why we've built Analytics Cloud on the cloud, offered as a service, so that it can connect not just to Liferay DXP-based sites and Liferay DXP-based experiences in general, but to any of them. This is a real example from Boss, where they have a Liferay site, but they also have another site built with Drupal. And when they want to see the insights of their customers, they don't want to differentiate whether the customer is interacting with them through one or another. Right? So Analytics Cloud can connect to any system that you may have or your customers may have out there, regardless of the technology. And the key two concepts that Analytics Cloud has is people, individuals, accounts, user segments, which are automatically determined or manually determined, and then interactions, both pages and with specific content, specific assets. So this is a real screenshot of Analytics Cloud, where you can see how, first, we've aggregated from all these different sources, built with Liferay DXP or not, all the information we have about a specific customer or a specific account. And then we're also aggregating all these different activities. And then on top of that, we are providing some intelligence, again, applying machine learning to be able to see, for example here, how they are interested in DXP, in mother portals in LA, and what's the evolution of that interest a long time, right? That's about people. Another key focus is interactions, right? So in this screen, we can see for a specific piece of content, what are the key metrics and how have they evolved over time. We call them asset reports. You can also see per page what is the path that users followed to reach to that page. And you can make decisions, or business users can make decisions to determine what they need to optimize to either change these paths or leverage them. Now you see the users come from here, then we can make decisions to achieve whatever business goal we have, right? And then topic and engagement. We want to know what our users, what our customers are interested in, because it may be what we wanted or not. And we need to have that information to make the right business decisions. So that's Analytics Cloud. And the final product that we want to show is DXP Cloud. As Brian said, DXP Cloud is an enterprise platform as a service. There are many enterprise platforms as a service, or at least many platforms as a service. What makes DXP Cloud different? Well, what it makes it different, what it makes it unique, and we believe are very valuable to all of you, is that it's tailored for Liferay DXP. And that shows, and that adds a lot of value. Basically, the goal is allowing anyone interested to run, manage, and scale a digital experience created with Liferay DXP. Okay? So what are the type of challenges that we are trying to solve? As Brian said, what we're trying to do is deliver or free IT from solving these challenges so that they can focus on other business problems that they are the only ones who can solve. One thing I want to make clear is we believe that there are many cases where you guys, your customers, are taking Liferay DXP on-premise and just deploying it on their own data centers or on the cloud their own way. And that's perfectly fine. And that's always going to be possible. What we are also seeing is that in many cases, that doesn't add so much business value. You would rather focus on solving business problems rather than just solving challenges such as infrastructure. And that's what DXP Cloud, those are the cases for which DXP Cloud really adds so much value. So when I talk about the infrastructure challenge, I'm talking about things such as deciding what is the right or the best operating system, buying the servers or allocating them on the cloud, dealing with network users, optimizing for security. Security is incredibly important and also incredibly hard. Monitoring what's going on with the system at the infrastructure level, and of course, monitoring performance and optimizing it. All of this challenge is solved in DXP Cloud. Once you have all the infrastructure problems, you have a running Liferay DXP instance, then the deployment of the application and the management of that application is the next challenge. You have to deal with clustering, with the installation and upgrades, again, monitoring at the application level, scaling, backups, tuning the application. This is, again, another challenge that DXP Cloud solves. And the third challenge that we are attempting to solve is the software development lifecycle. As you know, any digital experience, any portal, intranet, customer portal, has a development phase and then goes live. But that's not the end of the work. You have to continue evolving it, make changes, and deploy, and you have to deploy to pre-production or maybe UAT. You may have several environments. And that's a cycle that needs to go over and over. And it can also be handled with DXP Cloud. Let's see a small example of how DXP Cloud works. This is a real interface. This is a real demo. And we can see many options, many services that can be run on DXP Cloud, not just DXP. And this is one of the very cool features, alerts. It's a very advanced feature that can, for example, warn you that you've exceeded 90% of the allocated memory. So you can see some graphs. This is the monitoring that I was talking about. And you can see what's going on. And based on what you see in the graph, you can go to scale and enable auto-scaling. And just by enabling auto-scaling, for example, in this case, they're saying that instead of 2 instances, it can grow up to 10 instances, just like that. Okay. Another example related to the software development lifecycle is you can see here how there are 3 environments. There is development, user acceptance testing, and then production. Right? And there are different users who have permission to make changes or make deployments in each of them. And the deployments can be configured. This can be connected to a continuous integration server, and then you can configure from DXP Cloud to which environment is the build going to be deployed to. right? You can also create a new environment at any time. So I've shown 3 environments, but it's not fixed to that. So you can actually create a new one and then decide this specific build, I'm going to deploy it to this new environment that I just created. So it's very, very powerful. It has been created based on our experience of WeDeploy, which is another product that we have that you may have already heard of. And if not, the point I'm trying to make is, while it's the first version of the XP Cloud, it actually comes from several years of experience running cloud environment from customers using a variety of solutions, not only DXP. And what we've done is we've tailored it specifically for DXP. This is the 4th product. Summarizing everything that I've said is we are trying to make sure we put our customers at the center of our business, and we help any of you to put your customers and your customers' customers at the center of their business and provide the technology that can help you achieve that. We have now not only 1 product, but 4 different products. And our goal with all 4 of them is to empower IT to provide more business value. And we do this in 2 main ways. With 3 of our products, what we're actually doing is we're trying to find out how can we identify those business needs. Then we are identifying those business needs, and we are trying to provide more value by providing more solutions out of the box. And then with our 4th product, with DXP Cloud, what we are trying to do is free IT in those cases where this makes sense, free them from the infrastructure work so that they can focus on the areas where they can add the more business value. So these 4 products add our complete vision, or provide an execution of our complete vision that both Brian and I have been talking to you about. And we're very, very excited about it, and we really hope that through this event, you learn more about them, you come to us, you give us your feedback, and we hope you really like them. Thank you.